Hello everyone, and a very good morning or afternoon depending on where you are joining us from. My name is Charlene and I will be your host today for the webinar. Thank you very much for joining us to discuss how to address the needs of all students transitioning into higher education for the first time and further explore Epigeum's online course, Student Success. We should be taking about 45 minutes of your time today, including an opportunity for a designated question and answer session at the end. If you are familiar with the GoToWebinar software that we're using, you might know that there is a questions option as part of the panel on the right-hand side of your screen. If you would like to ask questions as and when they occur to you, please feel free to type them up and send them over via the panel there, and we're quite happy to take those as we're going through. We'll also be making a recording of the webinar available early next week on our YouTube channel if you wish to view it again or share it with your colleagues. At the moment, you are all on mute because the feedback can sometimes affect the quality of the sound. So if you do have any questions or any issues that you would like to raise, please do so in the panel on the right-hand side of your screen. So firstly, just a few introductions. We are joined by Constance and Joni today. They are both the lead advisors on one of our studying courses, Student Success. They will be leading the discussion today, and I will let them introduce themselves now. It seems that Constance isn't with us at the moment. She's having a few technical difficulties, but I will let Joni start now.
Great. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Joni Petschauer, and I'm currently serving as a senior fellow for the American Council on Education. I work with the American College Application Campaign. My previous career, however, was wedded in student success courses. I worked at Appalachian State University, and I taught freshman seminar and student success courses for over 18 years. So I've been involved with this work and I've published in this area, and I'm very delighted to share what we've learned over the years with you today.
Great, thank you very much, Joni. So finally, that's me, Charlene, on the left-hand side. I am the product manager for our student success course at Epigeum, and I work in the marketing team now to help universities promote our courses. So just a quick look at the agenda before we get started. First, we'll look at Epigeum itself, and we are the organisation that puts together the transformative online courses through a unique collaborative model. So I will talk about our online approach. Then we will move on to our presenters' discussion about the North American perspective and first year experience, and they will let us know about the current challenges students are facing with regards to transitioning into higher education. Then we will talk about an institutional perspective. So we have a case study based at Auburn University. Then following this, I will provide a brief demonstration of Epigeum's online course, Student Success. And then we will wrap up with a Q&A session, and I will give you some details to follow up on. As I mentioned at the beginning, please do feel free to type up your questions in the question panel. So now I will give you a quick overview about Epigeum. We were founded in 2005 as a spin-out originally from Imperial College London. Our two founders created the company in response to what they felt was a lack of timely support for researchers. They saw this as an opportunity to work with universities to create accessible and interactive supported material for researchers. Over the years, we have expanded to courses for students and for staff. We were acquired by Oxford University Press about 2 years ago. Oxford University Press is a division of the University of Oxford, so is a non-for-profit organisation in a higher education context. We have created over 92 online courses across 23 different programs, and we have currently 4 in development. We're an increasingly globally focused organisation and have worked with over 280 universities across 30 different countries worldwide. This is a map to show you the international spread of universities using our courses. I would like to briefly touch on implementation here, which is how the course can be used at your institution. This can be in a number of ways. Firstly, it can be used as a standalone academic course. You can supply the participants with an online multimedia-rich course immediately at the time and place they need it, and so this would be in self-study mode. Secondly, we have the option for tutor-supported online courses. And then finally, it can be used as part of a blended learning program. Typically, how this works is that the participants are given access to the online course ahead of a workshop, and then the workshop would really focus on consolidation and application of the material. The courses can also be implemented in all three modes at once. If you choose to use any of our courses, Epigeum has a technical team who will help you integrate the course from pre-installation through to promoting the course internally to your end users. This team ensures your university gains maximum benefit from using our online provision with ongoing support, technical training and advice whenever you need it. So hopefully this has given you a quick whiz-through background of Epigeum and how we put our online courses together. I'd be happy to take any questions on that process, but for now, I'm going to pass on to Joni.
Thanks so much. Great. Well, we are really excited to share some information regarding the experience of what we've learned about student success in the North America, Canada, the US, and Mexico. And we've also included some studies in Scotland and around the world, but from the National Resource Center for first-year students and students in transition in South Carolina, we do a survey every other year, and we try to assess what the state of student success is across the country. And what we found is that we need to quit experimenting with the idea that student success might be an appropriate course to provide. We know it makes a difference. And currently, rather than just sort of play around the edges with it, we need to go ahead and prepare those students. We need to graduate them. We have an ethical responsibility to do that. We don't take students into our campuses if we're not prepared to walk them through to the finish line. So we need to prepare them so that they can drive the world's 21st century economy. So that's the first point that I want to make, and I kind of want to give you the confidence to move forward and take on student success projects on your campus. So one of the pieces that I think is really important to me, and there are institutional high-impact practices that we have been working with. Over 90% of post-secondary institutions surveyed by the National Resource Center do provide a curricular offering of student success. Now, from an institutional standpoint, there are specific goals, and the three most common ones is that the institution wants students to connect to them. Two, they want to be sure students know where the resources that are already funded and already available for those students as they seek their success. They want to provide that information in a format that is organized and is presented so in a regularized way. Then lastly, the development and or reinforcement of academic skills. A lot of our students come with a variety of tools, but they don't all have the same tools to be successful in our courses. So it's really important to, at the outset, to establish what are the minimum academic skills that we expect you to have as you navigate this educational journey. And so we really do, sometimes it seems like it might be a little bit of hand-holding, and I often tell people that I'm not worried about holding somebody's hand in the beginning of their journey because they don't know where everything is going. So it's a very important thing to be very upfront and transparent with students. It's the same way that we bring new employees into our jobs. We give them an orientation. They don't know where everything is. So we should treat our freshmen or our first-year students the same way. Now, on our campus and on many other campuses, there are multiple delivery methods for this. There's face-to-face, there's a hybrid of face-to-face and online, and then there's strictly online courses. Each campus culture is different. And so there is a lot of support for doing it the way that makes the most sense for your campus. Now, the thing about the course itself, whatever instructional manner that we deliver the information in, there are some high impact practices that George Koo has been involved with, and he's identified, and so I would like to share those with you. That student-faculty contact, that relationship of developing an academic relationship with someone that a student can respect, someone that can serve as a mentor, that's a powerful tool. Without that, universities and college campuses just simply don't exist. So it's important that there be contact, and it can also happen in the virtual world. Certainly, just like we're doing, connecting with one another, talking about issues that matter to us and asking questions. So that's a really sort of the beginning of high impact practices. Active learning is a second high impact practice, and by that it's giving people problems to solve and then a place to apply that solution. So when students feel engaged in their learning, obviously they are more likely to remember what they've been involved with, and they may come up with ideas and lessons and solutions that no one's ever thought of before. Prompt feedback is a critical. Students really are frustrated. That's probably one of the places that students will complain the most about a faculty member and their experience with them, is that they do something and then it's like weeks later and they don't know how to improve in the meantime. So prompt feedback really is helpful. Thinking about your giving a lesson, you want to provide a lesson that you know that you can give feedback on in a regular and informal and formal manner. Time on task. I think all of us feel like when we go to a meeting and we find that we are taken off on tangents, that doesn't assist us in feeling productive. We don't like to have our time wasted. Students feel the same way. Another one is high expectations. When high standards are set, students will achieve more than if you set low expectations. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about what you want from your students and how you want them to succeed. But always recognize that high expectations require also several supports along the way. I wouldn't ask a student to write a master's thesis in the first year of college. I would want them to have a product, a paper. I would want them to show me that their process has integrity. So I would set up small assignments along the way to get them to the big expectation at the end. I think that when faculty members walk into the classroom and recognize and respect that there are different learning styles, that's an important message to share. But I also know that it's important for students to recognize that just because they learn differently doesn't mean that they have to be catered to for their learning style. So having an open dialogue about that, we want students to learn various ways to take in information, and a faculty member will, even when they try really hard to respect diverse learning styles, really have their own preferences for teaching as well. So that needs to be a shared conversation with students. And then lastly, giving students an opportunity to learn to work together, even though some students feel very threatened by that, is really important, because in the world, that's the way work gets done, is working with others. So in the end, we have specific outcomes that we're looking for with student success. One, we want it to be effective. We want to increase our student retention. We want students to persist, and we want them to graduate. Those are measurable outcomes. We want it to be efficient. In other words, we know that we have to be mindful of our resources. They are not unlimited. So we want to find ways to use the least amount of resources, although we want them to be adequate. And then lastly, we want it to be engaging. We want students, instructors, and the campus experience to be an academic community that's vibrant and is capable of elevating the world of education. So at this point, what I want to share with you is a specific situation, how one campus has approached this program and how they have done it at Auburn University in Alabama. what they've done with student success courses is try to come to understand the diversity of their populations and which students are at risk for not succeeding for a variety of reasons. And so we're going to talk about those now. Not all students have the same needs, and they've been very thoughtful about looking at who of their students might need some assistance. Honor students, they come with a whole lot of pride in the fact that they're considered an honor student, but they also might come with some hidden anxiety about not being able to live up to that. Transfer students who have been oriented to a different campus culture and might need assistance in understanding how this particular how Auburn is different from their previous campus. Students who are coming back to school, who left the university without obtaining a degree, may have left the university 5 or 10 years ago, and we know that campuses undergo changes regularly. So it's really important to give them an opportunity to become reoriented to their campus. Pell eligible students, students who come from low-income families, very often do not have the home support for their experience in college. So we know from the research that that's a group that can be at risk. International students, certainly it's not just the campus culture. It might be different from where they are. There are language differences. There are sometimes expectations that we assume as Americans we want students to do, and would not occur to us to point that out because we would have thought they would have gotten that through their public education experience in secondary school. First generation students, students who did not have a parent go to college or obtain a degree, are students who do not have a lot of experience with the college experience. And I think that what we are doing is almost teaching a foreign language to first generation students. And then lastly, traditional first-time college attendees. And that's the student that probably comes from a family that has had somebody go to college and they're just normal average students. Well, those are students that also have some concerns and some risk. So what Auburn looked at was what were some of the drivers for those students that might create some problems. Some students are highly engaged and they press for time. They may be engaged with work outside of school. They may be engaged with multiple courses at a high level. They may be driving from somewhere. So that press for time, that's where they saw honor students, transfer students, returning students, and Pell eligible students. Then some students may need more time to process information. So international students and students that are first generation were students they put in that category. And then honor students and traditional first-time college attendees may feel like they don't need a student success course. And that's certainly a lesson that can be learned. Hi, Constance. Would you like to continue from here?
Sure, okay. I would. Thanks so much. So we can go to the next slide. And I really do apologize for being late here. Yeah, so in addition to thinking about the needs of different kinds of students and their varying needs with orientation, we had a retention committee on campus that was thinking about additional ways that we could help subsets of our population to be more successful. And they focused primarily on students who were on what we call academic warning. After their first semester, that means those students whose GPAs are below a 2.0. And another group that came to the top of their thinking was students who early on in their careers demonstrate a problem, shall we say, with academic integrity, or who have trouble as transfer students. And then they also thought about students who just were in majors that traditionally had historically lower success rates. So the retention committee was thinking about all of these different kinds of students who might benefit from a targeted and focused and different kind of orientation, extended orientation activity. So as the committee worked more and more to think through this, they decided on 2 specific groups to pilot, and we'll be doing these pilots this fall. Students who are on academic warning after their first semester, and then students who are transferring in to specific colleges. So what they will be doing with students in selected colleges, these will be students in our colleges of engineering and arts and sciences, or College of Arts and then College of Sciences. What we will be doing is having the advisors in those colleges reach out to their transfer students through our learning management system and inviting them to participate in the student success course, at this point for no credit. And the students will work through the lessons, the modules of the program with periodic due dates. Ideally, we want them to complete it by mid-semester, which is around the time when we start registering for classes for the next semester. One thing that you may think is a little problematic is that we're going to be doing this with no penalty, but just with periodic emails of encouragement, and we'll see how that goes. We think we may have a good response rate without a penalty because we've got about a 95% success rate with getting our incoming students to complete alcohol EDU and Haven without any consequence, any negative consequence that besides more nagging emails. So we're hopeful that maybe the advisors can encourage them to do this. And if that doesn't work, then we'll move to perhaps requiring completion before they're eligible to register for courses for the next semester. What we are seeing is that we have got a number of motivators that are in our way and are prompting us to both want to create an online or in-person orientation experience for all of our 6,000 incoming students. And like on your campuses, I'm sure that you're seeing the same constraints we are, that we've got degree programs that are already as rich as they can be. If anything, we're all trying to keep our total credit hours as close to 120 as possible because we know that we want our students to graduate on time. We don't, at our institution, have a mandatory requirement for a student success or an orientation course at the moment. So, you know, to add an additional credit-bearing experience is going to be a problem, especially in our high credit hour disciplines, our engineering programs in particular. We know that some of our majors already have discipline-specific orientation courses that they're not going to want to give up. And so what we'll need to do is think about how to integrate additional material into those courses to make sure that they are getting what they need. Our current first-year seminar courses, which are either 1 or 2 hours, serve only about 25% of our first-year students. And so there are concerns with, you know, the cost as well of expanding from, you know, serving 1,500 students to serving 6,000 students. And as we all know, too, that intensive summer orientation program that our campus has and so many campuses have is very good and generates a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, and they get a lot of information but they don't retain it all because they're drinking from a fire hose. So what we're trying to do with the student success course is leverage it to help us meet all of these competing demands. We want to integrate as much as possible the online success elements into the existing FYS courses. That keeps as many students as possible having the small class experience that is so valuable to so many of our students. At the same time, it will provide them with greater exposure to hybrid instruction, which we are moving towards more and more as we pursue more active learning opportunities in our classrooms, and it will help the students have information that they can return to when they need that just-in-time information, which we know our students value. We're going to try to select modules from the program to integrate into the existing college orientation courses so that we can perhaps be more confident centrally that students are getting the important elements that all students need. And then we'll be offering the program as a wholly online option for students who can't add another credit hour to their schedule. So in that case, it would be part of the advising regimen. And our hope is that after we've done the pilots, after we've got experience showing the value of the course, we will go back to each of the academic programs on campus and ask them to choose essentially which one of these options they would like to follow for strengthening their students' online orientation experiences, which is our goal. I think that just about takes us to the end. We really are hopeful at Auburn that we will be able to help our students succeed by giving them these greater opportunities to more orientation information that they can use in multiple ways, and that helps model for them the kind of learning that we know they're going to be engaged in throughout their career at Auburn. So that concludes my piece.
Great, thank you very much, Joni and Constance. That was a really insightful presentation, and I hope the people watching got something out of it as well. So now what I'm going to do is move on to the course demonstration of our online student success program. So I will bring that up now. In this walkthrough, I will take you through the key features and highlights of student success. First, let's look at a typical screen. So here we can see the portal where the courses are listed. So there are 5 courses in this program: Why College, Why Now, Student Skills, Academic Integrity, Overcoming the Challenges of Student Life, and Leveraging College Resources. So moving on to the first course, Why College, Why Now, and on this screen we can see a screen challenge. This always appears at the top of the screen, and it's related to the topic covered, usually a question or an activity for reflection. We also offer a screen duration. This is an estimate, so students have an idea of how long it is likely to take to work through the screen. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will see what we refer to as pods. These provide additional content and activities for students to complete. Pods included are Your Campus Pods, which refer students to their institution's resources and guidance. Useful links, useful advice, Did You Know, and video pods allow students to get more insight into a particular topic. Portfolio activities are also a type of pod. These give students the opportunity to use what they have learned and come with a downloadable template for the students to use. Downloadable pods allow students to download templates or tip sheets. I'm now going to demo a screen from each course so you can see the kind of activities included and what the courses offer the students. So this is the first course. This course focuses on the transition to college, inviting students to reflect on their motivations for entering college. Students will be introduced to college culture and expectations. Each course includes a practice scenario. This gives students the opportunity to apply what they have learned in realistic situations. Here are scenarios of 4 student success characters that appear throughout the programme. They are used to illustrate a range of challenges and experiences that different students may face. The student will be presented with a scenario and 2 options of how the character should behave. They will then be presented with the consequences of their choice and feedback. They will also get the opportunity to find out what would have happened if they had answered differently. They can then return to the home screen and go through the other scenarios. Now the second course, Student Skills. This course equips students with the skills they need to academically excel and to meet the demands of college. This screen enables students to evaluate their own interpersonal skills and understand how to improve them. The first activity is a classification activity, which allows students to determine how they currently communicate. This comic strip illustrates how different communication styles can impact on a group discussion. A note-making activity is integrated here, so that students are able to analyse what issues are at play. They are then given feedback. Once they finish, they can view a summary of their answers in our feedback. The third course explores academic integrity and gives students the tools to use sources effectively and honestly. This screen illustrates why academic integrity is important and how it applies to students at college and in the wider world. Here you can see an example of your campus and portfolio activity pods. This portfolio activity encourages students to use the downloadable template to answer questions regarding their involvement in the academic community. There are videos throughout Student Success. The videos incorporate student, graduate and staff interviews which enable students to find out more about different experiences of college, as well as insightful guidance and information. I will play a video for you now.
I say it matters because this is like your first step into the adulthood world. So like what you're going to start now will go towards what you want to do when you're older, and it kind of will set like that like tone. So I think having the integrity now will help in develop when you're an adult, when you're working, when you have a family, so you can pass it on. Yeah, academic.
All of the videos throughout Student Success will include a transcript. Moving on to the fourth course, Overcoming the Challenges of Student Life. This course enables students to navigate academic, non-academic and financial challenges with an emphasis on planning for balance and well-being. This screen focuses on creating a plan so that the students can meet their commitments. There is an activity which enables students to allocate times to different activities. There is also a video which shows how students have managed to create balance in their life and what obstacles they faced. At the end of the screen, there is a note-making activity which allows students to explore their own experiences of resilience and why it is important. Course 5, Leveraging College Resources. This course explores the resources and involvement opportunities which enable students to be successful at college as well as their chosen career. This screen enables students to understand the importance of networking and surrounding yourself with a group of people who are trustworthy and reliable, who you can go to for advice. The first activity enables students to choose their own presidential cabinets. There is also a multiple choice question activity, which presents students with various scenarios using the student success characters. Students are then able to apply what they have learned about relationships and networking. I hope I have given you a good taste of the course content and some of the pedagogical features with this demonstration. And now we're going to move on to the questions section. So if any of you have any questions, please type them in to the panel and I'll see if we have any. Seems like you're all quite tired this morning and we don't have any questions at the moment. So I will move on to the next slide. So if you do have any questions that you can't think of right now but appear to you later on, you are more than welcome to email us at epigeum@oup.com and we can get back to you as soon as possible. If you are interested in possibly having a free trial of this course, please contact us on that email or log on to our website at epigeum.com/nextsteps/trial and we will get back to you as soon as possible. I would like to thank you all very much for attending this webinar today and thank you very much to Constance and Joni for being able to present their ideas and their stance on the current challenges that are facing students at the moment in North America. So thank you very much and have a lovely rest of your day. Goodbye everyone.